in Boot's career before it started.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
I've been said
fucked him up.
I would have knocked him the fuck out. And it's the reason why
Hear the shit.
they went the other way. Stop playing with me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stop playing with me. Niggas, real boxing motherfuckers know why they went the other way. He wasn't ready yet. He needed a couple of more fights, they said. Stop playing. Y'all be
Come on, bro. What I'm talking about. We already said
That's
that.
right. That's right.
But I don't know.
It ain't his time. Brian said the same thing. It ain't his time yet.
And I be trying to be nice because I support the young fella and all that, and he black and shit. I want to see him succeed.
That's my thing.
But niggas can't come up to me and do the same shit that they can do with other niggas. Niggas don't do that with me. I would slap the piss out of niggas' face. Niggas know who to play with.
But that was also what I'm saying. That his career is already ended.
Niggas don't even really be saying my name. They be like, oh, I'm with everybody. I'm on everybody. I will stop everybody. Niggas say my name. Niggas say I knocked Terence Crawford out, nigga.
You ain't regular, Terence. We know that. You ain't regular. You ain't regular.
See?
My goodness, ladies and gentlemen. You got Jaron Boots Ennis out here calling Terence Bud Crawford a clown. After the video that I just showed you of Terence Bud Crawford lashing out to Philadelphia's own Gillie the Kid, Jaron Boots Ennis' boy, telling Gillie that, bro, you trying to get your homie knocked out before his career even started. I would have absolutely knocked him out. He had his chances. The real boxing fans out here know why Jaron Boots Ennis and his team decided to steer the other way. Ladies and gentlemen, it's diabolical. I got Jaron Boots Ennis fans in my comments going absolutely berserk. The Jaron Boots Ennis fans are out. And a lot of people are arguing. Who ducked to? Did Terence Bud Crawford at one time have an opportunity to fight against Jaron Boots Ennis, but ducked the fight to pursue other bigger fights? Maybe. Did Jaron Boots Ennis and his team at one time steer away from opportunities, move different directions, avoid the Terence Bud Crawford fight? Maybe. You guys, I remember at one time when Terence Bud Crawford was the reigning WBO welterweight champion of the world before coming undisputed. Jaron Boots Ennis was ranked number 2 by the WBO rankings. Was one slot away from being mandated, from becoming the number 1 ranked fighter, getting mandated to fight against Terence Bud Crawford, but was also ranked under the IBF rankings. And decided to go the IBF route, to go the Earl the True Spence Jr. route, at the time the WBC, WBA, IBF champion. That was one chance. Jaron Boots Ennis had an opportunity to continue going the WBO route, to eventually be mandated to fight against Terence Bud Crawford, but decided not to. There was a time when BLK Prime, Terence Bud Crawford, got into negotiations with Steven Espinoza. Steven Espinoza, on behalf of Jaron Boots Ennis' team, claimed that BLK Prime came to them with a non-understandable offer. They said that they came, but didn't have Terence Bud Crawford behind them. Said that Terence Bud Crawford wasn't looking to make the fight right now, but later on, down in the future. But that was completely wrong. BLK Prime was ready to pay on behalf of Terence Bud Crawford's end. Will pay on behalf of Terence Bud Crawford's end to get this fight happening. Terence Bud Crawford said he was open to that fight. Steven Espinoza, on the other hand, was not. I'm not sitting here saying Jaron Boots Ennis didn't want the fight, because he did. But Steven Espinoza, at the time, during this interview and during these moments when they were going back and forth about setting this fight up, said that they were about 80% in negotiations, done 80%, in setting up a fight between Terence Bud Crawford and Earl the True Spence Jr. Steven Espinoza never wanted this fight for Jaron Boots Ennis. He didn't. He didn't want to step on the shoes of Al Heyman at the time, who wanted Terence Bud Crawford and Earl the True Spence Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a way bigger fight at the time, way more lucrative. Now, there was a time when Terence Bud Crawford beat Earl the True Spence Jr., became the undisputed champion of the welterweight division. When Jerome Boots Ennis decided to go the IBF route, screw the WBO route, I'm going for Earl the True Spence Jr. I don't know if he thought Earl Spence was going to beat Terence Bud Crawford, if Earl was going to continue to reign. But Bud Crawford beats him. And now, Jerome Boots Ennis was the mandated fighter for Earl the True Spence Jr. Crawford beats him. Jerome Boots Ennis becomes the mandated fighter to fight against Terence Bud Crawford. And what did Terence Bud Crawford do? There was an opportunity, but let's not forget Terence Bud Crawford, even going into that Earl Spence Jr. fight, claimed he was having a tough time making weight. Became undisputed just like how he did at 140 pounds. Didn't leave the division without becoming undisputed first. Became undisputed at 147 and decided to move on up instead of fulfilling that mandated, obligated fight. That's when Jerome Boots Ennis got elevated to full IBF welterweight champion. So there was an opportunity there, but Terence Bud Crawford was looking to fight against Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he moved up to 154 pounds to take on Israel Madrimov for the WBA junior middleweight title. But don't forget Canelo and Turkey. Well, Turkey, first of all, Turkey was looking to make that fight, was going to Terence Bud Crawford's fights, and wanted to make the Canelo Alvarez fight. The Israel Madrimov fight was for the WBA junior middleweight title, but it was looked upon as a tune-up fight before Terence Bud Crawford decided to move up another 2 divisions to take on Canelo Alvarez. So he decided not to stay at 147 pounds to fight against Jerome Boots Ennis, to go chase a bigger, more lucrative offer. So you can call it a duck, or you can say it's not a duck. But there were opportunities for both of these fighters to fight, and that's a goddamn fact. I see one side calling this side a duck. I see this side calling this side a duck. I want to see these people step in the ring. Jerome Boots Ennis is out here still arguing on behalf of his side that Terence Bud Crawford ducked him. And Crawford is sitting outside of the world of boxing in retirement on a FaceTime call with Gillie the Kid saying, yo, I would have knocked him out. I never ducked him. We was talking to Steven Espinoza, and Steven Espinoza tried to run the flip and push this narrative out there that it was them who didn't want the fight to happen, but it was Espinoza who wasn't trying to step on the feet of Al Heyman, ladies and gentlemen. They never wanted that fight for Jerome Boots Ennis. Look it. You had Gillie the Kid going back and forth with Bill Haney. They're talking about Emiliano Stannionis. And I gotta agree with Bill Haney here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have never been such a big fan of Stannionis. He's one of the least 147-pound champions that I rave about in the history of boxing. Yes, he was the first champion to come from Lithuania, the country that he's from. Good amateur background, not a lot of professional amateur fights. But a good fighter, come forward, at times would show technicality, but really was just there to be hit against Jaron Boots Ennis. I never thought highly of Stannionis. I didn't, to be honest with you. Who did Stannionis beat? Butaia? Ranzabat Butaia? Luis Collazo?
Is you saying the fighters that Boots fight wasn't qualified?
I'm saying when you had on that thing that you was talking about.
When Boots is punching
and you was
Stannionis is a heavy bag.
Stannionis is a heavy bag.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. Huh? Is Stannionis a heavy bag?
Is he a heavy bag?
Definitely he's a heavy bag. He's not a he's he's not a is he a technical fighter? Or is he right there?
We see technical fighters get beat every day now. Let's not act like we'll see technical fighters get they fucking ass whipped.
Was he right there? Was he right there? Was he right there to be hit?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. The way y'all looking at me right now, listen, if I turn, listen, wait,
what fighter stands in the pocket and exchange with niggas and don't get hit? The last time I checked, when Devin Haney stood in the fucking pocket with Lomachenko, he was getting fucking hit because he got another nigga that's just as skilled that's trying to fucking hit him too. What the fuck is you talking about?
What you saying, Bill?
Boots can do this shit too. Bam, okay. Come on, bam, bam, okay. Come on, stab to the body, okay. You step in, I step out, okay. I'm way athletic than all of you niggas. Come on, what we doing? I choose violence, nigga.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gillie the Kid out here from Philly backing up his boy Jaron Boots Ennis. And like I said, man, you can be on either side of the field and you can make your arguments. There are arguments to be made. But the argument that I'm making is I want to see Terence Bud Crawford come out of retirement. Come out of retirement. I gave Canelo Alvarez the same crap when Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade and Canelo and David Benavidez was hitting Canelo up with that same type of energy, talking crap, shit talking. And Canelo didn't want to back his shit up. I understand Terence Bud Crawford is older than Canelo Alvarez, and I understand he's retired. But the dude did not retire with any of us thinking that Terence Bud Crawford has lost a step, that he's outside of his prime. The dude is still in his prime. Okay, maybe that's stretching it. Of course he's not going to be in his prime. He's almost hitting 40s. But the dude has not lost it to the point where you got this guy who... Jaron Boots Ennis, who could have had the opportunity to move up to 154 pounds and chase you. Right? But Virgil Ortiz and Rick Merigian wanted to fight against Jaron Boots Ennis at 154 pounds before the Emiliano Stannionis fight. If y'all don't remember, Rick Merigian was calling him a Doug, this and that. But at the same time, Jaron Boots Ennis was talking about going to 154, but he wanted to unify the titles and fight for that Ring Magazine title. So I ain't crapping on him for that. Right? But he could have moved up. But he didn't. He chose to stay at 147 pounds and now fought against Osuma Lima. Another Turkey was public about this. That we can't lie about that. Turkey said he ain't out here running a charity fund. The dude wants to have tune-up fights. Go do that with Eddie. I don't do that around here. Was trying to set that fight up with Virgil. The money was there. Virgil and them was there. Everybody was trying to accept it. And no. And then the time that everybody does want the fight, now you got Oscar De La Hoya and Rick Merigian fighting. And Turkey not involved anymore because of Jaron Boots Ennis' choices. Turkey, seeing what Jaron Boots Ennis has done earlier in his career, and just gave up on him. I want to see these guys step in the ring together. I want to see Terence Bud Crawford come out of retirement and step up to what Jaron Boots Ennis has to say. I think back in those days, Terence Crawford would have probably knocked him out. He might still be able to do it right now, but I will definitely give respect to Jaron Boots Ennis in that field and say, right now, Jaron Boots Ennis, that's a good fight. That's a good fight, man. I absolutely love Boots Ennis versus Crawford right now. I think it's one of the biggest fights in the sport of boxing. Will anything happen and come off of this? I don't know. I don't know if Terence Bud Crawford is... He's talked about never coming back out of retirement. I don't know if you want to give Boot Ennis that clout, but my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think. We're back to watching Zuffa boxing right now.